All right. I think we're ready. Oh, wait. We are live. I can finally say we're live and we're taping this both at the same time. I'm not quite sure why I didn't get the heads up. I'm not which. Anyway, fans, welcome back to Chaos Corner. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this. Episode, aka show number 6 here of the Big Daddy Hour, the Big Daddy Show, which I like to call Chaos Corner. Fans, we have a lot of news. Today here on show number 6, we're going to cover last night's AEW Dynamite. It was an unbelievable match, an unbelievable setup. A lot of news coming out of there. It trended from earlier on Tuesday because that's where the AEW sets up a lot of storylines I'm noticing, and that was on AEW Dark. So we're going to tie all this together here on show number 6 with your old buddy. So for everybody over on Twitter, you'll be here for about another minute, 45 seconds, and then bounce over to my YouTube channel, Guardian of Chaos. Now, if you hit the link on my Twitter profile, it will bounce you over to the YouTube channel. And don't forget to follow my boys, Mario_Chaos. They put out a lot of great content. So we're going to be covering a lot, but I want to put this out there. Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, Chaos Corner on the Worldwide Ryan Patrick Show. Email me at ryanradioshow@gmail.com to get in touch with Chaos Corner. And, of course, my old buddy Dino. All right, fans, we're getting ready to get off Twitter. See you at YouTube. Don't you dare miss it. Welcome back, everybody, from Twitter onto YouTube. Show number 6 here of Chaos Corner. We'll be covering and recapping AEW Dynamite here today, live. Wait, hold. I should probably turn down the music. Again, I've said it the first bunch of episodes you see now. This will be 3 shows this week. So we're, even though I'm busy and doing other things, we've already talked about that. 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, round the clock, the GOC Big Daddy. Again, all the new stuff that my group here gives me to try out to see if we can brand it again. It's the old classic. Again, I say it, the Big Daddy gear. Again, it's still a little too big, but we're getting in shape. Anyway, fans, show number 6, you see that we're doing this just about daily. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know where it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Give me a break before we get on to Dynamite. A lot of great stuff last night. If I had to grade it out of 10, I might give close to giving that a 7.5 last night. Going to be a little tough here, but stand by on YouTube. Look. Little doodads that if you're smart, you'll listen in and you'll see what's going on here. So hold on for a break. Our sponsors, don't forget my boy, Mr. Hempel-Stillskin at sweetheal.com for CBD products, CBD life, CBD wellness. Listen, it's early in the morning. Bully Ray and LaGreca are on at the same time at Busted Open Radio as I am here at Chaos Corner. So yeah, I'm going to say it. Give me 2 spots, 3 spots, 5 spots, 7 spots. And I could perhaps screw up 6 of them. Oh, and I have to watch my cursing. There's potential listeners out there to the show. And, you know, I even got a text message back from a very influential person who's pretty influential in the business right now and doing big things. He's a guy I like to say that's back with a vengeance, but he had a comment to say, oh, geez, you know, cursing isn't professional, swearing's not being a professional. And you know what? I have to agree with him to an extent. But then that's about as far as it goes because I'm beholden and responsible to me. I'm not working for anybody. I've signed no contracts, and I understand and I can agree. So we're going to just say that at this point, it doesn't really matter with me. I'm going to be beholden to me, myself, because this is who I'm working for. But hey, I'm open for offers, suggestions, my phone, my email. Everybody's got it, but Let me not get on a roll on my personal life here because I want to throw out content to everyone here. And again, we are 8, 10 feet, 12 feet in the bowels of the earth here at Chaos Corner. So to get everybody in here, and I've already referred to it on the last shows, it's kind of tough to get reception. Why do you think the solar powered stuff that I have down here in the crank? Because you never know what's going to happen. Again, the elections are coming up. There's a lot of BS going on in the world. I don't want to go down that road. People will critique me, and that's okay. I'm okay with the critique and get back to me. Oh, you're not professional. You're not this. Or maybe. But we know that I am. Listen, I don't want to run down my accolades and my awards. Let's get on to the task at hand. Let me take a quick break. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Show number 6. Okay, who knows? We're rolling along here. And as long as we get the time to squeeze it in, we're going to continue. And not only the local independents, not only shows like show 4 and 5, where I covered the 40th anniversary of Pro Wrestling Illustrated and ran all down the top men. And sometimes with technical difficulties, we know what happens. The show could shut off or cut off, or we could lose audio or technical. So everyone's aware of that. It happens on the biggest of the shows, and it happens on the smallest of the shows. It all comes down to equipment, having fun with it, being positive, and entertaining you people. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And so far, the feedback has been great. YouTube, it's a little tougher. There's a lot of competition out there. I've already talked about all the people I respect, admire, and follow, and the people I put over, and the people I talk about, and the people that I listen to their content and see what they're doing. So, again, we're 7-8 minutes in. I always like to say that, keep people updated where we are, but we're not going to go. I don't see us going an hour. Again, I'm going by the demographics, the analytics. That's what I'm told. So stand by. Let me see here, because, again, we're always going to get sidetracked. I want to see what happened here with the old smart gear. So we're going to try this again. Bear with me. Fans, bear with me. Will you please? Will you bear with me? This is how you live. You have to live sometimes when you're down below the earth. You never know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with the election. We don't know who's going to win. It's going to be President Trump. It's going to be the former VP Joe Biden. I have my own thoughts, my own agenda, my own things that I need to look out for. But I will say it's going to get interesting. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, by the time this gets uploaded, if it gets uploaded tonight or later on today, because it's early morning hours right now, before I have to run out and do my thing, if you know what I mean, make sure people are safe. But we're gonna put it up there, and I believe tonight could be the second debate. It's going to be fireworks. Who knows what's going to happen? They're going to have the ability to shut people off, and I can guarantee you now, you know who's going to be shut off first? Can you see me? Do you know? It's a new angle, new camera, new studio, new show. Can you see me? We know it's going to be Trump. And again, I'm not pushing one way or the other for anybody. I'll keep that to myself. And if you ask me, well, then I'll tell you. Again, no cursing. I've been told by the higher-ups, the powers that be, no cursing, although that's a violation of your rights. I'm really not trying to get that big job right now. A lot of good things and big things are in the works. We know that. But I'm always willing to listen to advice from people, especially professional advice from people I respect. So if you're all watching this, all the different people I know I'm associated with and are very influential and have been in my corner from day one, I appreciate it. Here we go. And I'm not going to say, take a shot every time I twist a turn, spin the wheel, make the deal. We can't do that because it's early time. I'm still having coffee and Red Bull. Let's see what goes on here. Yeah, baby. This is inventions here. This is what you get here. Products, life. It's not just about pro wrestling. It's not just about comedy. It's not just about the Guardian of Chaos. It isn't. It's about the business. It's about the person, the personality, letting you into my world. I appreciate it. Let's see what we got. I'm going to try to turn this back on. We're going to head into a break. Solar powered. Even got the light on it. I love it. I like to listen to everything: classic rock, Motown, Sinatra, Buffett, Elvis, hip hop, rock and roll. It doesn't matter. Country. I listen to it all. I'm well diversified, all inclusive. That's why all this stuff of putting people in categories and labels and breaking people down, whether it be by skin color, ethnicity, religion, I've said it in previous shows. You go by how people are to your face and how they are to you, no matter who they are, male, female, older. That's how I live my life. That's how I survive. I'm not trying to put out a PSA and make my show heavy here. I'm really not. But stand by. Stand by. Sponsors, Sweet Heal, CBD Life, CBD Wellness. Again, there's not a day that I go without using Sweet Heal from here in the Constitution State. And I know I say it all the time, ironic enough with all the politics going on and the pandemic and the COVID and masks. And even though we're in phase 3, there's a lot of things going on in the Constitution State. A very overrated place to live. Trust me when I tell you. Let's finally lower this solar powered little John Cougar. Red Bull, and for me personally, the sugar-free, the top energy drink on the market. If you're not drinking Red Bull, then you're not getting the energy you need to get you through your business, work, or play day. I am the guardian of chaos, Big Daddy, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is what I drink to make myself full of pep. Because I'm happy and peppy and bursting with joy. Happy and peppy and bursting with joy. I believe that's from a classic in the 70s, Oscar and Felix, The Odd Couple. Jack Klugman, Tony Randall. Always was a big fan back in the day. But Red Bull, it gives me wings as we head up into 13, almost 15 minutes. This is great. And I haven't talked a thing about wrestling. So I hope you're all still there and bear with me. Don't go anywhere. Red Bull. It gives me wings. All right, enough of the chicanery. All right, we're coming up on 15 minutes in. The first couple of shows, I talked locally on shows 1, 2, and 3 about the Paradise Forum, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, and down at the training facility in the shadows of Titan Towers in New Haven County, and the school and the facility doing unbelievable things. Coming off of Under Pressure, 2 nights, 2 shows, a lot of results. Their next big event is coming up November 7th. That's right, November 7th for Alley Fights with a special 6 p.m. bell time, leading into big announcements for huge shows down at the facility in December. So the Paradise 4, and we know who they are. I don't have to say it every time, but I'll say it anyway. Roma, Mancini, Perez, Big Steve, Director of Operations Sergeant Murray, and what they're doing down there, and all the champions, which is the current heavyweight champion, Vlad. There's a lot of controversy going on there since he didn't show up for the last show. The new United States heavyweight champion is Zafar Al-Rahihi, and the whole group of the Pyramids of Power and Collusion, especially Maxim Morozov. Of course, your 3-time tag team champions is still Nick and Hakim, the House of Pain. But the Haven, Sean and Jay, are breathing down their neck, as are Team España. Your new Alley Fights champion, and what a ladder match, along with NutriaSex and Trayvon Jordan and Showtime Marcel Williams. But your new Alley Fights champion, Dustin Flash Waller. And let's not forget the New England Beast, over 20 years in the business, is still holding on to the IC belt. And that would be one Bull Dread. So stay tuned to all their social media on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, ParadiseAlleyProWrestling.com. You're not going to want to miss it, with 4 men that worked for Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And they're pushing out product going into finishing it off through the holiday season, going into 20 and 21. The school, the facility, the camera is very top-notch and professional. Paradise Alley has stepped up their game in the product that they're putting out for the fans. You're not going to want to miss it. Which leads me into, and hopefully there'll be the merge and there'll be the training facility, but it's still being working, and that would be the Godfather Tony Capone, where I have been the commissioner for the North American Wrestling Alliance. Now, the Godfather has been all over, from Pro Wrestling Insider with Mike Johnson to all different podcasters that he's with and all different shows, very influential people, and signing very influential people. Coming into the holiday season, stay tuned to all the social media for North American Wrestling Alliance, and you can get in touch with the Godfather Tony Capone himself on Facebook, and he will get back to you personally. Also, we know the big event, December 19th, Jingle Brawl at the Ocean Center in Daytona. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster. You're not going to want to miss the alleged and the announcements and the talent that's going to be down there. Listen, Florida is loaded with talent. NAWA is national and international in contracts and negotiations with all sorts of stars. So December 19th, it will be on iPay-per-view, Fight TV. The North American Wrestling Alliance is back with a vengeance, and they will be. And I think it's going to be their home base. I've announced it on other shows here on Chaos Corner. I believe that the Beachfront Center, the Bay Center in Daytona, will be the home, at least temporarily, because of the rules, the guidelines, the COVID pandemic, for the North American Wrestling Alliance. Jingle Brawl, December 19th. From the commissioner. Don't you dare miss it. So I wanted to get that stuff out of the way. You see how serious I can get. So that's going on locally. That's what was the first couple of shows. We got out into Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which ended up being a couple of different parts and a couple of different shows, but some incredible knowledge and information. And I want to thank Pro Wrestling Illustrated in the 40th anniversary. And I've said it before, as a kid, being able to go to the magazine stores, the bookstores, and having them line the streets with not one magazine or maybe two if you're lucky, like here. And they coming up on the end of October 2021, was magazines that were 20, 25 magazines spread out all over the place. And again, I keep referring to it because I love history. You go back and you listen to even people like Dreamer and things like that. This is where, whether it was Bill Apter, George Napolitano, all the legends, I've said it before, the wrestlers were larger than life. You learned about all the different territories, the different parts of the world and the globe as a young boy, and seeing all the different athletes and the things, the way they were run, and they were larger than life. And then when they finally came over to the United States, you knew who they were. That's what it was like to be a fan in the 70s and into the 80s. Different times, social justice, COVID pandemic, elections, the media, who to believe, who not to believe. Sports is different. Life is different. Talk radio, sports radio, this whole podcasting and entertainment thing, YouTube bans, Twitter bans. Who knows where we're going to be going, but I'm going to continue to go strong like I do on Twitter, and fans follow me here. So those as we get off the ground and we're on to show number 6, I'm going to be doing a lot of this, covering the big product, covering AEW Dynamite, covering Monday Night Raw, covering SmackDown, NXT, MLW, the Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan. I'll have certain shows on certain days, especially if it's going to be daily, that we're going to be doing here. I'm going to have to cover everything for everyone out there. There's a lot of competition. Again, I'm not going to talk about it because I'll never get onto this, but thanks for being here. We're coming up on almost 20 minutes in. That's how fast these episodes go. But I appreciate it. Radio off. Everybody's sitting in the background. Radio down. It's a one-man show. The Guardian of Chaos. Big Daddy. I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this. All right, fans. We have so much stuff down here. We're going to start off. We break into AEW Dynamite on TNT. We know that AEW and AEW Dynamite is averaging, since they started, we just had the 1-year anniversary, the 30-year party of Les Champions with a little bit of Les Bubbly, okay? Averaging a solid 860,000 fans every Wednesday night for the 2-hour block on TNT. That's damn good for a product that's only been around for a year. It's still in diapers. They still need the little Bobo. They've got to go. That's what AEW is. They're not even in pull-ups yet. That's how new this is. And with how good they're doing over on AEW Dark, I get it. It's a platform. It's YouTube. But they're end up a couple of days after AEW Dark, where they'll have anywhere from 8 to 12 matches. It was supposed to be a 45-minute show. It's now can go up to an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's where they're trying out independent talent. Who's got it? Who doesn't have it? Brush up on your skills. What an NXT maybe used to be back in the day, a farm system, but AEW Dark on YouTube is drawing 400,000 viewers for its show. So go out and check out AEW Dark. It's on YouTube platform, but they're getting a lot of good matches, and you're seeing some of the storylines, and we're going to get to that. And you're wondering, as I listen to JD from New York off the script, the #1 fucking podcast on YouTube, when he covers all the product in the YWC. But when he teams up with Jesse, my boy from Chicago, Jesse and JD, when they cover AEW Dynamite, they said the same thing. So I know that I'm thinking along the same line of people that are in the top of this industry for what we're trying to do, except I'm a former talent. Let's not forget that. I just wanted to throw that out there for the hell of it. Not one curse yet, so I hope that you're listening. I don't need to curse. But when there's no one out there and I can be beholden to my own thing, that's what happens. It comes out. It's controversial. Let me sign a check. Somebody start paying me. You tell me what you want. I now work for you. You are the employee. I am the employer. I can still stay true to myself, my morals and convictions. But then you'll see a little bit different. I'll go by your rules. But until then, I go by my rules. Pretty simple. So I hope you're watching. I really do. There's a lot of perspectives out there. Anyway, so we go into AEW Dynamite. I talked about AEW Dark, setting up a lot of storylines. So we'll get on, because Cody said that whatever hour programming comes up next, they're never going to make AEW Dynamite into a 3-hour show. And I couldn't agree with that more. That's why Monday Night Raw has gone down the tubes. Just my opinion, one man's opinion. So we open up Dynamite at Daly's Place again. The visual down there is beautiful. It really is. They got a nice home in Jacksonville. They've been able to avoid the pandemic and keep the testing and keep it positive and keep the staff safe. They got limited capacity in there. It makes all kinds of noise. It makes such a difference. I couldn't imagine if there was a regular live crowd like before the pandemic hit. It just would be unbelievable. And even when Jericho comes out, they sing to his song. I mean, that's not what it's all about, but people are still going there. They're still keeping people's interest with psychology and storytelling and making you want to come back to see the product. And that's not what WWE's doing. They're trying out SmackDown. It's a bigger audience. They're drawing over 2 million a week. It normally probably would be 3.5 or 4 without this COVID pandemic. But you see, the stars are aligning for WWE to try to put things over into SmackDown, and Raw is, the home, the mothership, 25 years. Vince, I don't know. I see trouble with the whole draft. I know I'm getting off subject here, but this is what the fans want to hear, is the big time stuff. So again, they open up. It's the winner go home tournament. That's what JR said. Okay, it was a nice crowd. The lights, the pyro, the sound. Listen, you could see leading into this, it was going to be a predictable show as far as the talent and who was going to win and who was going to be set up going into next week, and then Full Gear on November 7th, at least in my opinion, if you could see the storylines. They do set up decent storylines, AEW. Khan is doing a great job, Tony Khan, and with the input from the Young Bucks and Omega, and especially Cody Rhodes. So in the booth, you see Justin Roberts in the ring. My good friend Justin, shout out to you. A lot of people say he goes over the top. He's too much, but he's a professional. He's been around forever. Shout out to Justin Roberts. He's standing in the ring, no mask. I like to see that, because everyone's socially distancing. Everyone's been tested, so we hope we're safe. Let's see what happens after the election. We get to the booth. It's good old JR, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur. A nice mix right there. I don't care what anybody says. I enjoy it. The opening round for the Elimination World Title Tournament match, where you're going to be able to get a title shot at Mox for the AEW title. And they set up everybody in here. You could see where they were going with this, with the storyline. But I want to run it down. The first match we open up with on Dynamite is Wardlow. We know his association with MJF, and let me tell you something, Wardlow looks tremendous. A lot of people are trying to compare him to different people. Dave Bautista, the Ultimate Warrior. Let's just compare him to Wardlow, because that's who he is. I like his look. He's a big dude. He's in great shape. So Wardlow comes out first, and then comes, obviously, the lineage. He came from his loins. Jungle Boy. Luke Perry was his dad. God rest his soul. He's a good actor, Perry. So Jungle Boy, who reminds me of Steve Simpson back in the old World Class days, or maybe a younger brother of one of the Von Erichs. I love the Von Erichs. So Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt has the whole gimmick there, Jurassic era, whatever they call themselves. They walk Jungle Boy down to the ring. I like the whole setup in dailies. Like I said, they come down on the platform, even with the ring. And Luchasaurus, a big son of a bitch himself, I'll tell you. So it's Wardlow and Jungle Boy. Again, it's pretty predictable. I know Jungle Boy's going to be a good athlete. He's got a great future. I think they can make this kid into a star because AEW is trying to make stars out of their roster, which is what the WWE is not doing, especially when they bring up people from NXT. Out of the last dozen people that have been brought up from the NXT roster, they've been buried on Raw or SmackDown, and very few have gone on to be what they were in NXT and to be a star. There's a few, but we're not going to get into WWE because this is AEW. So Wardlow looked great. Listen, his in-ring skills have definitely improved. He's definitely must be training, whether it be with the Dynasty, the guys down there in AEW, whether he's working with Cody. I heard he's working with a couple of different big men, but he looked great. Jungle Boy, definitely once he fills out, I think gets a little older, he's going to be a superstar. Wardlow's had 9 straight wins in AEW, and this is what I like about AEW. A lot of people say, who cares about records? It's fake, it's scripted, it's real competition, physical ability, and those who get in the ring know that. I like the analytics part of it. I like bringing in a one-loss record, streaks, different things like that. When I talked about covering Pro Wrestling Illustrated, reading off different accolades of what wrestlers have accomplished, it's akin to the 4 major league sports where they have Cy Young, MVP, All-Star Games, All-Pro, so on and so forth, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, All-Defensive Teams. So it's the same concept as those sports as what happens here in the world of pro wrestling, which you people can say sports entertainment. Ask any athlete who ever tried to get into the ring as a pro wrestler. It ain't that easy, okay? It's not. Okay, you're talking to experience, and again, I don't know why these people have to always wrap me in chains. That's right, I'm going to say it because that represents my life and my family's life since we've been here for a long time, wrapped in chains, and especially if you know my past. But at least I made money for it. Positivity, you move forward. You make it happen. But this is what they told me to do. They're waving at me in the back here. So the first match, again, Wardlow, 9 straight wins. You knew what was going to happen here. Although Jungle Boy and Wardlow pulled off one hell of a match, Wardlow did a sort of a whirly bird, like a 180 spin off a backbreaker position. Jungle Boy, Perry, if you will, went flying through the sky because they did it from the top angle of the top of the building at Daly's place. It looked fantastic. The huge size advantage. And, of course, Wardlow looked like a monster. Jungle Boy represented himself well, but your winner who went over, obviously Wardlow, who moves on after this first round match into the next round. After that, you're going to see the rundown of the TV program and what they're abided by on TNT and broadcasting and different things that you have to do to get things in there to pay the bills. So I just took a little note there, so bear with me on that stuff. Of different things, commercial breaks, so on and so forth. I like to write all that stuff down. That's what I do. I'm a historian. I do my research. I like to know what I'm talking about and see the program. So that's what we opened up to. They went right into a Eddie Kingston promo. Again, Eddie Kingston, hardcore. It's good to see an OG get a shot at the big time. It was deserved years ago. I like Eddie Kingston's character because it's a cross and walks a fine line between life and character. That's what Eddie Kingston brings to the AEW and is brought to pro wrestling. And if you don't know who Kingston is or where did he come from, then you weren't paying attention in the business to begin with. Legendary Eddie Kingston, who runs with guys like Mac and Moff and Homicide and LAX and Conan's Boy. Let's not forget about all that. He's been all over the place. Don't look like jabronis. So Kingston does a great promo because that's why he's there. He's decent in the ring. He could take a beating. He's from the streets, but he cuts one of the best promos in the business, and the style that he cuts could be perhaps the best. So he calls out Mox. You know they have a history. They wrestled once before in AEW. He calls Mox a sellout. Okay, he comes out with the Lucha Brothers because you know they're tight right now, Phoenix and Penta. Okay, it's a segment from last week where AEW, and I liked it. They all tied it together where he's Kingston's just brutalizing Mox, trying to choke him out, mocking him with the world title with the Lucha Brothers, as I said, because we know there's a history. And now all this, okay, with that promo, and then they refer to an I Quit match at Full Gear on November 7th. So they go right from a match right into a promo, aka vignette, as Eddie Kingston comes out. They go to the first commercial break of the night. Okay, I like to keep track of that stuff and compare it to different groups, especially when I'll be on national TV. I'm already on international radio. Wait, did I let that slip at 30 minutes in? Let's see who's paying attention, because you can't go that long. I think I let that slip. They come back from commercial break. Mox responds to Kingston. Listen, again, I said they feuded before. A promo vignette. Now, Kingston was live, but this is a promo vignette, and guess what? We knew this with Mox and with his character. He's not apologizing for anything that he had to do to his family. You want to call him a sellout. He was looking out for his family. Now, I can understand both sides of the coin. There's two sides to every story, sometimes three. I say that all the time. So that was the promos they throw in there. I think AEW tries to run the product where they'll do a match or two, throw in a promo. The booth breaks down certain things that are scrolling across the screen. They want to get out as much information in this 2-hour, once-a-week program, which is brilliant, and there's no oversaturation. So I like that. So that sets up for a huge match. And who would have thought even 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, that Eddie Kingston would be in the hottest company going for perhaps the most important heavyweight title in pro wrestling right now in All Elite. So I find that to be very interesting. The promos were good. Both guys are good talkers, especially Kingston. Mox can hold his own in anything. You've heard him on Busted Open Radio. Okay, so we go into that, and again, my notes keep getting in the way because I have notes everywhere. I have books, everything over here. That's just the way it is. After that, it leads right into Omega and what was supposed to be Joey Janela. Now, I know you fans know it, although it just happened in the last 24 hours, 48 hours. Janela does not have COVID. But whoever he was hanging with, and we know, I'm not going to insinuate anything, he hangs with a lot of different people. He does a lot of different things. I don't know his lifestyle. A lot of people like him. I got nothing against Janela. Janela. But supposedly he's on self-quarantine because whoever his posse was had COVID. So they took Janela out of the match with Omega, which may have been a smart move, and they substituted Janela's tag team partner, Sonny Kiss. Now, if you listen to Justin Roberts in reading the accolades and awards about Kenny Omega before he came into the ring and his announcement, an introduction at Daly's Place, it was unbelievable. Read off 20, 30 different accomplishments. It reminds me of the heel days of when Omega was the cleaner. A lot of people have talked about it. I saw it coming. I didn't like the original Omega, playing too nice, with the exception of certain matches here and there, the one hardcore match. But they've been setting this up for Omega to come back as the cleaner. So he comes out to what I consider to be an unbelievable entrance by Omega. This is what I wanted to see moving into 2021. He's going to be the face of the company once Jericho, which wasn't, we'll get on to that. But Omega comes out, unbelievable. And here comes Sonny Kiss. So it was fat. Listen, Omega, we'll get on to because the entrance, the announcements, the accolades by Justin Roberts, and then his entrance, and then dancing girls with brooms, the cleaner. It was very entertaining. The pyro, AEW's on top of it, like WCW Monday Night Nitro used to be decent when they had the wars. It's no longer a war. Dynamite has won every week and averaging, and they've even gone over 1 million a couple of times. And if there was no pandemic, they'd be drawing over 1 million in ratings every Wednesday night. NXT is down to 650,000, 630,000 ratings. They went from virtually being the number one brand to back to being number 3. So just to throw that in there, Omega's entrance, though, was unbelievable. This match took all of about 10, 20, 30 seconds. He came out as the cleaner. had that no-nonsense look on his face. Omega, we know the history in Japan and all the matches with Sonata, Okada, everybody else that you could think of, and he's been voted #1 in the world by Pro Wrestling Illustrated at least once, maybe more. People consider Omega to be perhaps the best grappler in the world. I don't know if I would go that way. I don't think I would. He did the usual. Again, I have to bring it up here. Listen, I know the move. I didn't call it that, but you want to call it the one-winged angel, flips him over top into the pin, hooks the leg. An unbelievable maneuver if you go back and look on it, but that's what they call it. I didn't call it that. To me, it's more, if you look at it, a sit-out power bomb, from the top of the shoulders to where Omega sits out, but they don't call moves like that. Everybody's got their own twist and different things on it, and that's what happens. But the bottom line was it was about 30 seconds, made Omega look strong, and that's what the fans wanted. This is what I've been hearing for a long time. The cleaner is back in AEW. This was the beginning of Dynamite. It was really a pretty damn good show here to open up things, and the balance between matches, promos, vignettes. I like the way the AEW and Khan are doing it. We get back onto the Elimination Tournament. Okay, Dynamite recap. Here we go. There was a beautiful, again, here's the match from Omega, Sonny Kiss. Originally was supposed to be Janela. Let's hope he's okay. Now we go, boom, right back into promos and vignettes. And, of course, Orange Cassidy's backstage with Tony Schiavone. And perhaps, I got to think about this, perhaps one of the best backstage interviewers in history. And now Schiavone's trying to interview Cassidy about, what's coming up and who he's working with and his legendary feud with Cody right now. It just, a lot of things. So Cassidy's wearing a T-shirt of himself, just sitting back there. Schiavone's asking him questions, and Orange is looking around, and Schiavone's like, "So what do you think? Your match and here tonight?" And Orange Cassidy goes, "Oh well, on to Cincinnati." Schiavone says, "No. We're in Jacksonville. We're in Florida." Orange Cassidy's like, COVID. Orange Cassidy's like, "Oh, whatever." Like, he didn't even understand the question. The most awkward, weirdest thing, but they're trying to get Cassidy over, and he walks off, and Schiavone is just left there, as confused as a baby at Hooters. And you know the reference, right? If you go into Hooters, what do they serve? What do they have? The girls, the guys. You go in there with a little baby, you're hungry, and maybe the baby's trying to be healthy and breastfeeds with his mama or her mama. So I would say, as the grandfather, whatever, relative, listen, let's stop. What better place to get wings than Hooters? So you have to bring the baby. You're not drinking. Of course, there's no alcohol involved. They have great food in Hooters. I've been to the one by Daytona Beach, by the Speedway, not too far from the Ocean Center, where Jingle Brawl will be for the NAWA. But back to that, you walk in there. Now, of course, that's why it's called Hooters. Women who have fine chocs of land, well-built, go to the gym, genetics, whatever you want to call it. So you come walking in, Chaos comes walking in, no alcohol, nothing like that. I live straight edge. And the baby's like, pop, mama. Looking around, all confused. There's couple different women in front of you, all different shapes and sizes, as we say all the time. I'm all inclusive here. It's fair. You don't want to judge anybody by what they look like, where they come from, what they say, their skin tone. That's why we got problems in this world. But back to the task at hand. So the saying, confused as a baby at Hooters. Is it breakfast? Is it lunch? Is it dinner? The baby's still in that phase. So you get the gist of confused as a baby at Hooters. I can't make it up. So that's what Orange Cassidy looked like. And this kid, this is what AEW does. They're going to make this kid into a star. He already is. I couldn't imagine when the crowds come back and this COVID breaks. Get a vaccine, whatever it is, whether it's political, it disappears, more people get sick. God rest, we've lost so many people in this world. I don't like where things are going. Let's get off that soapbox. This is positivity, motivation, inspiration, but that's reality in life. But so this is what AEW does. They're making their own stars. So in turn, the next vignette on AEW Dynamite, Arn and Cody, they're at Daly Place. Arn's still a big dude, man. Thank God I got to hang out with him last year at the induction ceremonies for the class of 2019 New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. We all had dinner together the next day at the Fan Fest in Warwick, Rhode Island. Joe Bruin, New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Unbelievable honor. Check out the people and talent and superstars in that Hall of Fame, including yours truly. So Arn still looks good. So he and Cody get out. You know, they're interviewed by the lady, the backstage interviewer. I forget her name. Easy on the eyes. That's why she's there. And she's obviously talented at her craft and what she does. They get out of the limo in the parking lot. And, you know, they're talking about Orange Cassidy. And Cody, who is the executive vice president of AEW, says, I'm here looking sharp. You know, he's got the blonde hair, the piercing blue eyes, the USA on the side of his neck, a nice blue suit, and he looks great. And he says, I'm here for a day off. This is Cody's day off, and Arn and him are there to scout and hang out at Daly's place, and it looked good. And it's nice to have those entrances outside live. It draws the fan in, keeps you motivated, your interest. So it was good to see that. And again, this whole Orange Cassidy, Cody Rhodes thing is turning into quite an angle. So we go back from the promo, go back to the booth. I told you, Tony Schiavone, the legend, JR, the double legend, Excalibur. It's a good mix of people. They throw in the preview of the show, what's coming up, who's on the card, the rest of the folks tonight, what it's leading into Full Gear, AEW Dynamite, all the matches for Dynamite next week. And out of nowhere, good old JR throws in the old social distancing and mask PSA. He does this whole PSA about wearing your mask and protecting everyone. And hey, listen, we can agree to disagree. I agree, and I wear my mask when I have to, when mandated. But do you understand, it has creeped its way into wrestling a little bit, and we know that, and I guess it's unnecessary right now until we figure out in the government what the hell is going on, and through the CDC and all these medical people, and who's right and who's wrong, and all the misinformation from the media on down to everybody else. I can't stand it. I don't like it. I get heated. Onto the task at hand, because I am the taskmaster. And I don't care what Kevin Sullivan and Big Drew Anderson say in the NAWA. I'll see you soon. Legends, respect you, I get it, but I am the taskmaster. So we go to that, and then they go to the second commercial break. Okay, so this is commercial break number 2 through TNT. We come back from the break. It's another Eddie Kingston promo vignette response to Mox. So they're going back and forth here, talking about November 7th, talking about Full Gear, their past history, whether I think it was in Japan and in AEW. Kingston talks about the Lucha Brothers being on with his boys, Butcher and the Blade being his boys. He's got his own little posse. Mox is the lone wolf solo all by himself. So Kingston obviously had this promo taped after they flashed back to him last week on that promo from AEW Dynamite. So that's basically, we know the feud that's going on there and everybody that's involved. Kingston has become a major player in AEW, and he's going right for the top. At his stage, his longevity in the industry, why not go after Mox? Plus, there's a history there. And whenever there's that history, it's a beautiful thing to bring into reality and into the storyline. Hold on, fans. I have to do it. You know that. And I hope you're still watching. We're 40-plus minutes in. We're not going much longer, but what a show. AEW Dynamite, TNT, the Khan family, professional wrestling, the Guardian of Chaos and Chaos Corner. We proudly support a company that did not give in or give out to the political correctness of the mainstream media and the mob rule mentality, and that would be one, Red Bull. I love Red Bull. Proud to be a Red Bull supporter and drinker. That's my PSA. Whether you sponsor me or not, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, Chaos Corner, and Red Bull. It gives me wings. I know that. I don't know how that looked on camera. Nor do I do care. I was told, stay professional, Chaos. Anyway, thanks for the breaks. Thanks for hanging in. We're 45 minutes. And again, I'm doing this out of personal reasons that are people that are texting me, standing over here. It's a one-man show. but I don't know what I'm doing, and hope we don't get cut off. So somebody's always trying to coach me, and I appreciate everybody, whether it be the Paradise Four, whether it be John J. Filippelli, the president of the Yes Network, whether it be Patrick Dino Ryan, whether it be all my local connections, family, even my wife, my daughter. Listen, I appreciate it. The viewers, all the different people, the fouls, the people that have reached out to me, that follow me. I get it. I understand. Thank you. God bless you. I love you all. I wouldn't be here without you. So we go on. We said the Kingston promo. Next came up an unbelievable match. Listen, these guys are brothers. Yes, it's lucha style. I personally am captivated by it. I could see why the live crowd, I could see why the people at home are riveted to this. It's the lucha style. It's a huge influence here. And that's what the 21st century pro wrestling has gotten to, no matter what heritage or country or skin color or where you are from. And I hate breaking it down like that, but you just make me do it. Society, the world. I won't do it anymore because we're all just people. But anyway, Phoenix and Pentagon. Penta El Zero, Penta El Om, Sfero Miedo, whatever. Sierra Miedo. Ray Phoenix, who I've seen many times on the Indies. Penta, a legend, both Mexican grapplers. Unbelievable. Now, Eddie Kingston comes down, goes to the booth. So this is where he takes over. He's almost like what Jericho's doing, and now Kingston's running that same road. So he's down there in the booth with Shivani, Excalibur, and good old JR. Okay, for this bout, obviously Justin Roberts all night has been in the ring. That was a big controversy. He looks great. No mask. They're doing a lot of testing. Everybody's COVID negative. They've gotten that under control. So Justin's in the ring, looking great, making the announcements. And again, the pyro is off the hook, just like what they were doing back in the 90s. I mean, I really enjoy that. It makes such a difference. Daly's place is a great atmosphere. I have to get down there. So Phoenix comes in, and this is what I also like. They keep the records. Phoenix is thus far in AEW 16-7. Penta 12-6 so far in AEW. And obviously they were tag team champions. They are brothers. They've been together forever in this business. This is going to be an unbelievable match. The younger Phoenix against his older brother, Penta. I expected a lot from this, and I got it. But I don't like the high-risk moves. I know it's the style. I know it's the tradition, but you're not going to have longevity. You're not protecting your body. I don't understand all these crazy moves, not just Mexican, throwing Japanese, throwing American traditional style. I just don't like it. And some of the moves that I saw between Pentagon and Phoenix, first off, the chops were unbelievable how they went back. You could see the blood coming through the chest as they broke up the vessels on the inside. Unbelievable. Chops are a strong part hold of this business, and you saw it in that match. It really was something. The corkscrew by Phoenix from the top rope to the outside onto just Penta. The unnecessariness, but how he pulled it off, because that's why he's there. Unbelievable moves between these two. It really was over the top. I was wowed so many times. And then Phoenix, I don't like to critique people and be negative, but because of the fast, high-paced ability of the match, just like the fast, high-paced ability of the Guardian of Chaos and Chaos Corner Show, you make mistakes, you fumble, you slip up, but you work by it and you move on. And that's what Phoenix did, because he tried to run and walk the top rope, and he almost went right through the ropes, and he's lucky he didn't get hurt. There were a couple of times that Penta and Phoenix are so lucky that they made it out and didn't do something. Holy cramoly. What a match, fans. They go to a commercial here, split screen. They keep Penta and Phoenix on one side, a TNT with a split screen on the other side. And the first promo that comes up is, of course, Cody on the Go Big show, because, Cody's on TV now, and it's why he took some time back. But it's the third break here in AEW Dynamite, and Cody is on the Go Big show. I haven't seen it yet. So we begin there. We come back. Okay, we come back from there. Again, we're 48 minutes in. We come back, and they also do a nice ad on the bottom. This is where marketing, advertising, entrepreneurship, branding, promoting, doing things like that. And they have an ad for Chris Jericho's A Little Bit of the Bubbly.com during the whole show of Penta and Phoenix. And while they're talking about a little bit of the bubbly from Le Champagne at a little bit of the bubbly.com. Unbelievable advertising and promoting, and this is where you get the marketing, and I understand where other people I know come in, and you know who I'm talking about. Breathing rarefied air, the most marketable man. A little plug right there. So I just have to say that match was unbelievable. moving on in that match, obviously, was Phoenix. It was an unbelievable match. I want to make sure I got the finish correct. Phoenix went over on an unbelievable move. Again, I said Aubrey Edwards was the ref. The different things that were missed, but the finish there and the actual clean pin on his brother, Phoenix over Penta, who moves on in the tournament, the AEW Elimination Tournament. So that right there was worth the price of admission alone. Let me just make sure I got everything in there. So we continued on. We talked about how they threw it in there. Yeah, there is a lot that was on there. Okay, we come back from there. Let's not get this is what happens here when you're live. There's no edit button. This is like when I gave speeches before. You make sure that you're prepared. You jump back. We're coming up on almost an hour in. Hopefully we will recover this whole AEW Dynamite. And if we have to go over, then for the first time, I guess I will go over. We talked about Orange Cassidy, the met with Phoenix. So again, I'm on the right track. Next comes back from the split screen. They talk about AEW Dark. I want to talk about that on YouTube. That's where a lot of the stories are created. You notice that the bunny came on, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but the bunny was brought back where she belongs with the Butcher and the Blade. And that happened on AEW Dark when Eddie Kingston coaxed her back to his group of the people he hangs out with, the Lucha Brothers, Butcher and the Blade, and now the bunny. And I like that gimmick much better than them being separate. So AEW Dark, you got to start watching it on YouTube on Tuesday nights. Top rope head scissors by Phoenix to wrap it up. I get back onto it. Obviously, high-risk maneuvers. We talked about the slips and spots. The flying top rope flim-flam, flip slam where Phoenix came over. I don't know how to describe this. Penta pushed him up. He did a somersault over, landed on him into a sit-down power slam, but only a 2. Back to where Penta snapped Phoenix's arm. Usually when it was Lucha Underground, it would sold. One of those moves there, the flip slam like that from Penta would sell. Only 2 counts on moves in other groups and organizations, especially like Lucha Underground. And this is what I don't like, and this is where I'll get a little rough on AEW. Yes, you sold it. But why the high impact maneuvers and high risks and something that's your finisher, but yet people continue to kick out of it? It doesn't do anything for the maneuver or for you as a performer. I personally don't like that way that goes down. So there were several near falls and 2s that I thought should have finished the match because of their high impact. It just makes sense to me. And I get it. Will you stop waving at me, please? I love you, but stop waving at me. I get it. I didn't shave. I got it. Again, what an unbelievable match. Now, Phoenix, and I know I was a little lost from site to site on this match, but it went on for so long. It was well over 20 minutes, and then with the commercials, Phoenix did a crucible from behind on Penta into a reverse Canadian destroyer for the pin. I almost want to call it a crucible Mexican destroyer, a huepa! But for whatever it was, some of the moves that I saw pulled off by Pentagon, Penta El Om, Basier Romero, and Rey Phoenix, the brothers, the Lucha Brothers, was unbelievable. And then that finish there by Phoenix, and that was pretty stand-up by Pentagon to let Phoenix move on, who's obviously a very talented grappler, maybe better than Penta in certain ways, and to give Phoenix the rub. What an unbelievable match on AEW Dynamite. That part right there, that's why it took so long and made sure that I got everything accurate because, I learned from a lot of people out there, you got to be accurate. Don't just talk out of your ass. Okay? Then again, I say it all the time. I refer to guys like JD from New York and Jesse, and JD's the #1 fucking podcast on YouTube, Off the Script, and that's only my first curse. So all the famous people out there, all the people I love, all the potential hirers, employers, I only cursed once, and I don't have to curse, and that's almost an hour in. But I am who I am. Just give me the shot. Give me the opportunity. But those guys like JD from New York, Off the Script, in the IWC #1. I listen to him and learn a lot over there. I learn a lot by watching guys like Don Tony, who teams up with Mish, who I like Mish, and he's very good at this business and laid back. And when he used to team up with KC, Kevin Castle. I also like Joe Cronin, and when he hooks up with the guys in his group of inner circle guys. Joe Cronin, people sit there and say, oh, he does gamers, this, that, and he's crazy and he's out of control, but that's what makes him different. And you know what? The Cronin Show is very accurate on his information. And then throw in guys that are more serious. Devin Nicholson is always accurate, one of the top shows out there. He doesn't have any chicanery. He's straight from the hip like he is as a person. So to watch the Hannibal TV, he doesn't follow me back, but I still put him over. That's also a great source out there. So there's a lot of people. I talk about different progress, a work in progress with all the guys and gals over there. Informational, but also a lot of fun. Bourbon Soaked Live, Juliet Miranda with her and Dave, the producer, and the Unwritable Rant podcast. It really is unbelievable between the live YouTube and the podcasting. Juliet and Dave from New Orleans are unbelievable, and I can relate to their situation. Also, again, the legend Rich Mancuso, okay, who keeps it in the ring and does a lot of boxing, and was the former legend from the 90s with Jody Mack. That's right, Jody McDonald from WFAN days and from Philadelphia, and his father being is a huge part of the New York Mets when it was Jody Mack and Rich Mancuso overnight. But now Rich has his own YouTube show, and then he does the walk-arounds with Action Kid there in all 5 boroughs in New York. So all those different people are folks that I listen to. Throwing people that are recently have hooked up and I've caught on, and I've said it before, I've sent it to them. Boston Wrestling, MWF, with Dan Murata and Matt Degnan, the Prodigy, and they bring in John Cena Sr. Again, and Tony Atlas is their mainstay. What they're doing out there by keeping the legends working in their YouTube channel, I support everybody. And if I'm missing you, send me a note. If I'm not talking about you, that means it slipped my mind because I'm trying to cover AEW Dynamite. We're coming up on an hour. I'm not even close. So I might go into a part 2 on this, but I have to thank those people because they're influential. They're good. They're loyal. Their work is quality. They're quality people, quality human beings. And I haven't even talked about and I'll do it right now, the podcast with a Pro Wrestling Elite Fandom and BBWWBB podcast, whatever they call it over there, with the main host of it, Avi Klein, 7 days a week, Mondays, Glacier Ray Lloyd on Breaking the Ice. Don't forget his movie, The Irreplaceables. Tuesday, Face Value with Bill DeMott. And the most important thing about that show, the Carrie Ann DeMott Foundation. Wednesdays, Paul Roma, Maintaining the Truth with Avi Klein, who is the co-host of all these podcasts. Thursday, Making Waves with WWE Hall of Famer, the magnificent one, Don Morocco. Friday, Road to Recovery with Mike Duke the Dumpster Drosy, perhaps the most important podcast on the platform. Sunday night with the Patriot, Del Wilkes, Unmasking the Truth, obviously once again with co-host Avi Klein. Saturdays, the Green Room with all the boys over there in their chicanery fighting it out on who's going to be the host, whether it be the legendary grappler Mickey Doyle, Howard Collado, Adam Sentif, Avi Klein himself, Richard Holiday. He's a no-show. I don't know. Supposedly Mickey Doyle assaulted Adam Sentif. I don't know what's going on over there at the Green Room. 7 days a week, Avi Klein and the group over there and what they're doing. Facebook Live, Twitch affiliate, soon to be on Patreon. So I want to support all those groups. And if you want to be included in that, because I just remember off the top of my head, send me your stuff, inbox me, email me. And again, of course, my mainstay, I was just on the Curtain Call podcast with New York Times best-selling author, Kevin Sullivan, and of course, the co-host, the president of the Yes Network, and that would be John J. Filippelli, creator of everything from Yankeeography to Center Stage on the Yes Network. And of course, my mainstay. Who knows how long I'll be on this platform, but I love it. Coming up, we're in episode 33 or 34. I think it's 33 live tonight because I'm doing double duty as we're an hour into this. And I will post this before tonight. I'm doing double duty, doing Chaos Corner show number 6 first, covering AEW Dynamite, and then tonight, live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Worldwide Patrick Ryan Show with Dino for an hour of Chaos Corner. Now, if you want your question read live on the air on Chaos Corner while I'm with Dino, all you have to do is email me, fans, at ryanradioshow@gmail.com. Let me say it again, ryanradioshow@gmail.com. Email that. What's going on? Maybe I spit on myself. Email question there. Answer one of my trivia questions. I will get an 8x10 autographed Hall of Fame picture out to you that week. So email ryanradioshow@gmail.com. Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the worldwide Patrick Ryan Show with that crazy son of a gun, Dag Nabbit. I'm not cursing. You understand it. I'm an hour in, and that would be the one and only Dino on Chaos Corner. Anyway, fans, back to the task at hand. We're going over an hour tonight. That's what it looks like. On to after the Phoenix match over his brother, Pentagon, we're on the 10th segment of this because I broke it down into segments. We're 10 segments deep. Promo highlights of the Best Friends and Miro and Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. Okay, back and forth on the promo. One in stage, okay, backstage. It's Colt Cabana, the tag team, the Dark World Order. Those guys are pretty funny. Not much in size, but they're pretty funny. Colt Cabana is a mainstay. Not only was his podcast, but the longevity of Colt Cabana and what he does in the ring and outside of the ring, similar to Tommy Dreamer, the legend Tommy Dreamer. So they're going back and forth between the Best Friends, Miro and Kip Sabian, the Dark World Order's talking about, Alex Reynolds and Brody. They're talking about Brody Lee, the Exalted One. Colt Cabana's not worried about that. He's worried about his match coming up in the Elimination Tournament. So they're going back and forth with the promos and vignettes there. And you see the pattern. Match or two, promo vignette. Match or two, promo vignette. One live, one backstage. Keeping it moving around, keeping the stories going, keeping the people live and interested. I like the way Tony Khan and AEW are doing that. So they come back from that. It's the fourth commercial break. I told you I keep track of all this stuff. The fourth commercial break now for AEW between whether it be a split screen or just a regular break altogether, and AEW is off the air. Fourth break. Got to pay the bills. You see what it turns down to, the actual minutes wrestled in the 2-hour program. Back from there, we talked about the promos. We come back to Colt Cabana versus Hangman Page, an unbelievable matchup by two athletes that have been around a long time, much differing styles. Hangman Page has kind of dropped off the face of the earth a little bit. I don't know if I like it. He needs to be back in certain things. I got it. I love you. Thank you. He needs to be back in a few different things, but this is a match I wanted to see. Now, Cabana has Evil Uno in his corner from the Dark World Order. I've always liked the Uno character. He's dressed in a suit. He's got the mask against Hangman Page. The tournament, this is for the AEW Elimination Tournament, all the matches that have been going on through the night, okay? Again, throughout the match to beginning to open up, both men are technically qualified, going back and forth, showing that they belong in the ring, that they're qualified. They can do any style. They can train. There's no high flying here. It's in the ring. Split commercial break. It's the second time we get to split commercial. It is the fifth total time of commercial breaks for AEW Dynamite. Just keeping track of it. Analytics, that's what I do. Colt does a Dusty imitation a la Tommy Dreamer, spinning of the hand, grabbing your ball, bang, the elbow. I've felt it not only from Dreamer, but I've also seen Dusty Rhodes do it live. Dusty tried to get down to Turnbuckle Entertainment. He was so good to me. Again, very influential. You see the influence of Dusty not only on his mentor, Tommy Dreamer, who I said last episode, on episode 5, he pays homage to him all the time. Colt Cabana does it the same way. And if I had to rate the two, and I don't know if they're listening over an hour in here, I'm going past the demographic, but if I had to rate the two, I give the Dusty imitation, the rock and roll, grab your groin, the old spinneroonie, and boom, no matter what side. I give it to Tommy Dreamer over Colt Cabana all day, although both of them paying homage to Dusty. It doesn't get better than that. The American Dream. Remember what I'm talking about in reality and not only pro wrestling. The American Dream. So it was a near fall, but here's the bottom line. Again, we talked about the commercial. The unbelievable German suplex, surprised by Hangman Page and his size This is maybe why he's not in the WWE, because they're always talking about size, and it's the same thing for a couple of different guys over in WWE, but it's not that time to talk about it on this podcast. He picks him up, Hangman, like this, groin first into the face, crotch into the face, runs him across the ring, drop, hits him, grabs him around the lock from the turnbuckle, hits him back with a German suplex for the pin and the bridge. An easy maneuver, but it shows the strength of Hangman, and what a finish. Hangman Page moves on in the tournament again over Colt Boom Boom Cabana. And again, it was predictable to me. I don't know about to the rest of you fans out there, to you jabronis, the brain of a dehydrated baby. I love you all, but that's what I say. I don't know what you think, but I thought this was predictable. It was an excellent match. And Hangman Page, a big win. And the strength on Page, that suplex from the the waistlock angle, listen, caught him in midair, unbelievable. That's the 12th segment of the show as we move on here. Show number 6 of Chaos Corner on YouTube. Show number 6, I know I mislabeled show number 5. There were part 1, there were part 2. We don't seem to be having any problems yet with the show cutting off. We know that it's show 4 and show 5. I had to put it up in 2 different parts and it cut off, but we're getting better at this. And let's move on to the task at hand. That was truly something there. We go on to the tribute to Colt, from Colt to Dusty. Beautiful win by Hangman. Predictable in my mind. Let's go on to continued the next tournament match here. First off, during that, we talk about the plugs, the analytics, the things I said. We talked about how Schiavone plugged LesChampionsBubbly.com. Here we go again. Tony Schiavone plugs AEW Season Pass. A note by Schiavone during the match of Cabana and Hangman. AEW Pass, socially distancing, it's outdoor, and you're available now to get your 2021 AEW passes. The balls and the nerve of people, I get it. Marketing, advertising, hoping for live crowds, this COVID pandemic, and after the election, who knows what's gonna change. But I just found it odd. I'll give them credit in one vein because of the marketing and for what they're doing there, and trying to brand and promote. I like that. I think it's smart, but at this time, you just wonder, it's all about the almighty dollar. So I found that interesting. That's why I bring it up. There were some unbelievable moves. I told you the pin, the head and shoulders flip by Page to pin Cabana. They did it twice because they missed the clothesline, just like I missed it on the first time. They missed the clothesline. It looked like it was repeated to me. I'm just calling it out as an insider. It doesn't mean anything. It was a great match. It was a little slow at the end. So here we go, and this is what they go to after the match of Cabana and Hangman Page. Just the different moves that I had noted that stood out to me that were outstanding, and the things I noted at the end as a scout, because that's, let's face it, that's what I do. Whether it was for Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, North American Wrestling Alliance, different sports that I'm into, you know that I'm a scout. So here's the finals for that AEW Elimination Tournament as Phoenix and Kenny Omega, Page and Wardlow. So there it is. Rey Fenix, after defeating Pentagon, goes up against the cleaner, the new cleaner, Kenny Omega. That's going to be an unbelievable bout. And on the other side of the bracket, it's Hangman Page in a match that against Cabana that was decent. And Wardlow, who destroyed Jungle Boy, but you saw this coming. The much bigger Wardlow and Page, Phoenix and Omega. This is what Phoenix, the much younger. This is what I predicted. This is the final 4 I had. Okay? A few minor adjustments, but this is the final 4 I had. I thought it was pretty. This is for Full Gear, okay, for the AEW title shot, November 7th. We move on to another, again, the flow of match, promo, vignette, what you're throwing in there, backstage promo. And here we go. Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara vignette. Both men taking their time. Both were not in the building. Hardy and Guevara, you know it's made in blood. They've made this into a decent story. Matt Hardy trying to give the rub to the much younger, the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara from the Inner Circle. So this ought to be interesting. Again, I refer back to the match that they had at the pay-per-view in Jacksonville Stadium between the Inner Circle and the Elite. What an unbelievable bout. Entertaining, ahead of its time, something that I'm not usually into, but I found that to be tremendous. So that's where that comes from. Unbelievable. Matt Hardy and Guevara coming up for Full Gear. Back to live action at Daly's Place, and you come back to Taz, Cage with the FTW belt, and Ricky Starks in ring. Team Taz calling out certain grapplers that they're feuding with. The new man to hit the scene, the big man, Willie Hobbs, and also Darby Allin. Now, listen, Taz cuts an unbelievable promo. I can't believe it. This guy still has it. You talk about guys that have promos and still have it. They said, Big Daddy said, if you continue to do this and get it on screen, maybe we'll become one of your sponsors. We're well over an hour here. So Taz doesn't say much. I mean, I'm sorry, Cage doesn't say much. Taz is unbelievable. He cuts the promo like he did back in the day. Same thing with Jake the Snake Roberts. That's why these guys are in here. That's why they keep it entertaining. The older guys giving the rub, the legends, the veterans, this is how they're used. So he cuts on Darby and Hobbs. Tremendous promo. You have to go out and watch it. Ricky Starks grabs the microphone, and you know what? He's a good talker. This is a guy that has a future. Not only is he a good-looking guy, in great shape, maybe not the size, but is great in the ring, and now being taught by Taz, and he has the mic skills. Watch out for Ricky Starks. I said it back to the NWA days when he was with NWA Power, and now in AEW, this guy has a future. Watch out and keep your eye out for Ricky Starks. So that sets up for Cage and Hobbs. They're really pushing Willie Hobbs, and I understand because he has an athletic background. He's a big guy. He's a brute, and he matches up, and you need something for Cage to do or he's going to get lost. So I understand that. So it's going to be Hobbs and Cage probably at Full Gear, and you see that I think this is going to be an excellent matchup of two men. The crazy lunatic who goes, to, in my mind, way overhand, way too far. I've witnessed it personally when he jumped off the top of a basketball net in a gymnasium onto all the boys at Evolve Pro, Evolve 95 with Evolve and Paradise Alley on iPay-per-view. Darby Allin is reckless. So this match, and Ricky Starks is more traditional. This bout between Starks and Darby Allin coming up at Full Gear, or when it comes up on AEW Dynamite, it sets up for some great matches. Cage and Hobbs once before, although a little sloppy, was physical and great. Two huge specimens. Taz is tremendous, so I'm looking forward to Starks and Allin. And Hobbs and Cage. Hobbs is going to get pushed. Let's see what happens, fans. That's segment 14 so far tonight on AEW Dynamite. When I say tonight, I'm reviewing this, obviously, early, mid-morning before I have to go out and save the community. Okay, I'm doing this mid-morning, and before I come back, and tonight, live, 9 o'clock on the Worldwide Patrick Ryan Show with Dino. Again, I say it all the time, live. So if you're this deep into the podcast, a minute 10 in, tonight live, I'm doing double duty. The Worldwide Patrick Ryan Show, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in, ryanradioshow@gmail.com. I said it already. That's what makes this podcast so long. So back to segment 15, fans, and if you stayed with me this long, an hour and 11 in, sometimes I should have started off with this, but I didn't. We come back right after the back from the Taz. Again, commercial break number 6. I forgot to mention that. After the Hardy Guevara vignette, commercial break number 6. Coming back to the Taz vignette. We already talked about that with Team Taz, Hobbs and Allin. Transition into segment 15 of the show and how I broke it down. It's Jericho and Max, Y2J and MJF, Les Champions, former Les Champions, at dinner with steak and wine. Backstage, it's live. And, the waitress comes over and they start ordering, and they go back and forth with both ordering a 20-ounce porterhouse steak with a baked potato, and whether they're going to get it burnt or well done or medium well and or rare, and they go back and forth like they do in the promos in the ring, and it was hilarious. Now, you don't know where this is going, and it caught everybody by surprise, and I'll be honest, it's one of the things I mentioned, but I can't take credit for it, so I'm half wrong. I'm with the rest of you. I didn't catch on either, but part of me saw some of this coming, and I don't want to sound like that. But it's true. I talk reality, facts, quotes, and you know it. So this is what I'm always talking about. I try to sell it to different groups, different companies. I thoroughly enjoy it. Let me not blow the sequel here, blow the moment, and blow the ending. So they're going back and forth there about who's going to get it better, who's going to get it tougher, who's going to get it rare, who's going to eat it different. So it really is hilarious. Keep changing cracks back and forth in orders. So then they talk about over the next couple of weeks. Next week is the town hall. They're trying to keep it current. They're talking about politics. I'm keeping it out, but they're talking about the town hall and Les Champions. Jericho is the demo god, and MJF. Max is the ratings ruler, the demo god, the ratings ruler, and Jericho says, I don't like the ratings ruler, and out of nowhere. And then they're chuckling about talking about going back and forth about Orange Cassidy, and this is how you know Cassidy's going to be a star. When the future of the business, MJF, Maxwell Jacob Feinstein, is the future. MJF, is it Feinstein or Friedman? Maxwell Jacob Friedman? On a live event, I screwed that up once before. I own it though. I own it. This is a good laugh you get. A minute and 15 minutes in. I gotta wrap this up. Anyway, back to the task at hand. So that's why I'm saying Cassidy getting rubbed from MJF, who's a future star, so that from your peer, and then from the 50-year-old legend Y2J. So they were chuckling about that demo god, ratings ruler, and then they get up and they go nose to nose. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to break down. You don't know if it's going to be chaos, pun intended. And MJF comes up and starts singing Us Together. And they start singing and doing a Broadway and a dance with dancing girls, the can, and they're spinning, and they got girls around them, and they're out in a little gondola, and they're doing the usual Broadway show, MJF and the hat, and let me tell you something, it was entertaining as hell. Well, as all get out. It really was. No one saw this coming. They broke it out into a Broadway show of dancing girls and themselves and singing karaoke. And I believe some of it was lip synced. It would have been better if they were doing it. Jericho was singing live. It's not. I don't know. It's not confirmed. Who knows? Who cares? But it was entertaining, and nobody saw this coming, and it caught everybody off guard. And it reminds me of the old days of, some comedy in there, and some people may not like it, and traditionalists, and I'm in the over 50 demigod himself, and I thought it was entertaining, and I found it hilarious, and it was nice to see it brought back, and they're always thinking and creative and thinking out of the box, and I really thought it was hilarious. I have to tell you, as we move on, way over what we want on this show, but it's a special show. It really was hilarious. As we get back onto, again, this is what happens when you're at live shows. Show number 6, we're an hour and 15 minutes in of Chaos Corner, the Big Daddy Show, the Big Daddy Hour, if you will. Let's put this aside. We don't have the music. We don't want to crank it up. We don't have enough time, but we always have time for this. I hope you're hanging around. Red Bull. Hasn't cut off yet. Let's see how long this takes to upload. So, with the showgirls, the whole 9 yards, they redo the ending. They come to the end of it, the end of the script. You think it's the end of the show. And they say, hey, let's do it one more time. And they go through the whole thing again. Listen, it was a Broadway performance. It was unbelievable. They get back to the dinner table. The waitress comes back. They sit down. They're falling all over themselves. It was hilarious. It really was good. Had a lot of entertainment value to it. Back to the WrestleMania days and back to the days of TNT and Monday Night Prime Time. And that's what I like. And that's the part about it. Besides just in the ring, a lot of people, as I said, will not like it, especially the older folks. But I thought it was highly entertaining. So they come back to the table. The waitress comes back. And you know what they do? They both send their meals back after going through that whole shtick and they both do the same thing, and they send their they send their meals back. It was priceless. Again, that was not to be missed. And we come up on commercial break number 7. So as long as this show is, I'm going through moment by moment, is almost going to be for as long as this podcast is, show number 6. So after that, they break from them sending their food back. It was gold. Commercial break number 7. Back to segment 16 now as I break down analytics. And we come back to Dr. Britt Baker with Reby, who goes over on Kyla King. Okay, and in the middle, let's first off, Britt Baker's looking damn good. Not only is she getting better in the ring, she's filled out a little bit. The outfit she's wearing, she's glowing. It's different colors. She looks pretty damn good. I could see why JD from New York teases Jesse on off the script on Wednesday night's AEW Dynamite review. And who knows if they'll ever see this, okay? But I could see why. She's looking pretty good. And I sit there and I asked myself about because she played a different character in Impact, and it's come up before, and people have said it. It's public record. It's been out there. Yeah, people know it. This is not a secret. It's not against anybody. But would you, Dr. Britt Baker, and the character she was in Impact? Would you? And as Jesse says, and I'll agree with this. Yeah, I would. But anyway, they're pushing Britt Baker. Their women's division leaves a little bit to be desired. We know that already. Thank God for Thunder Rosa and Ivelisse and Diamante and other girls that are coming in that are very reputable, and maybe when Statlander gets back, who's green herself. But this is good for Britt Baker. We'll go on to we'll skip over that. Dr. Britt Baker won. She's always got the promos with Shivani, and again, this is what they're doing subliminally, and they throw it in there. Shivani says, "All Elite heels. It's for women who love wrestling." So they started their own social media group. And if you go out to www or alleliteheels.com, it's for women who love wrestling. Alleliteheels.com. So I'm not saying go over there and look for a date, but it's a website that's devoted for women who love wrestling. Remember that. Alleliteheelswomen.com. Obviously, Dr. Britt Baker had King tap out. Again, here we go for the next promo. You see the flow and the things that go through the program. Match, promo, vignette, commercial. Match, promo, vignette, commercial. So here we go. Promo for next week. Next week going to be a big night on AEW Dynamite, as we find out every Wednesday night. They're destroying NXT, and there is no more rating wars. I said it earlier. Orange Cassidy, okay, in a lumberjack match, okay, next week. It's going to be a big match. I'm not crazy about the lumberjack match. At a town hall meeting to see if MJF is going to join the Inner Circle. That's going to be entertaining. That's worth tuning in alone, okay? So they're doing this promo after the Britt Baker match. The next week's town meeting is going to be great, especially after the debate that's coming up, the Trump and Biden tonight. So to see if he goes in the Inner Circle. What are your thoughts? Let me know. Email me, DM me. I don't know if you can leave comments. Do you think MJF is going to the Inner Circle? What do you think's going to happen at the town hall? I'll be back to report on it. Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy. That's going to be a tough one. FTR defends the titles, and we know who they're going to defend them against. It's a secret opponent right now. That depends on what's going to happen. We already know who they're defending against. They're defending it against the Young Bucks. It was a setup. It's a spoiler. Spoiler alert. I know right now you got to be pissed. But I'm going according to the show. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're an hour and 20 minutes. So, yeah, next week, Cody and Cassidy in a lumberjack match. They face Darby, faces the winner at November 7th. You know that. Darby's involved in that, too. The Town Hall, which is going to be great. FTR versus the mystery opponent from the tag team match later on tonight, or later on in this show, or later on in this broadcast. Guevara against Matt Hardy. Next, we go to a vignette, segment 17. This is how the breakdown is. I'm breaking down the show. Segment 17 is Steve O from Jackass with Darby Allin. And you know what Darby Allin does? And I told you he was a crazy bastard. You see it on AEW. I don't know what it says about his longevity. I told you what happened at Evolve 95 between the Evolve Paradise Super Show. Go out. It's on YouTube. He does the body bag roll. And you know what that is? Because I know what it is, coming from where I come from. Now, have I tried it before? That's another story for another time. He wraps himself up in a body bag, gets in a cell on the top of a skateboard, and then rolls all the way down in the body bag. Blinded in the body bag in your body and roll. The body bag roll. Well, he calls it the body bag roll in. And he rolled in. So him and Steve-O, leave it to the jackass Steve-O. Leave it to the jackass. And I'm not swearing. I'm not cussing. I'm professional. When I need to be. Wow. Again, and here we go to the final, fans. Again, so like I said, we went for Britt Baker. They went for promoting next week. And for the titles, we go into the Steve-O Darby Allin vignette. We already knew that Eddie brings back the bunny because at the end of the show, I'm getting texts from people and I'm seeing it on social media. Oh, where's the bunny? When did the bunny come back? If you watched AEW Dark, you read into the storylines, psychology, storytelling, I say it all the time, making it believable, telling people you want them to come back, having emotional investment. I say it all the time. So out comes the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny in the four-way tag team match to see who faces FTR for next week at the titles. Fans, listen, I don't want to blow it. You know I already said it, but in case you're tuning in now, let's break down the four-way. We know it's going to be the Young Bucks and FTR. Okay? It's the Dark World Order, the Young Bucks, Private Party, guys that are green but that are tremendous and going to be big stars. Who am I to say anything? But I could say this. They're going to be tremendous. And the Butcher and the Blade. FTR is over in the booth with Shivani, Excalibur, and good old JR. So we've had different people in the booth. Before it's been Chris Jericho, who's gold. Eddie Kingston was in there tonight, and now FTR is in there because they have vested interest. Super kick spot that sticks out to me between Private Party and the Young Bucks play on each other. It was pretty damn good. One of the guys didn't sell it so much, but it was pretty good because, super kicks are big in the independents. They're big with the Young Bucks. They're big with Private Party. So to go back and forth, that was entertaining. Again, a lot of high-risk, unnecessary moves. I said it about the Lucha Brothers. I worry about people's longevity and protecting each other and taking unnecessary moves and no health contracts, no health care, no unions, no benevolent fund, nobody taking care of anybody. You're independent contractors, but yet they own you. This is stuff that we'll get on to another time on another podcast. I talked about it on Patrick Ryan with Dino on Chaos Corner. So if you know me and you know my platform and you know what I'm all about, that this stuff really gets to me, especially being involved in an independent business. And, I'm friends with the promoters, the owners, but you feel for the boys. Something's got to be done. So anyway, high risk. We go to split commercial break number 4, overall commercial break number 9. So 9 times through the 2-hour program we've had commercial breaks, and out of those 9 times, 4 of them have been split screen, so at least you can see the action of what's going on. Okay? Good old JR, we come back from the split commercial. We're in the middle of the 4-way, Butcher and the Blade with the Bunny, the Dark World Order, the Young Bucks and Private Party to see who's facing FTR next week for the titles. Good old JR is talking about breaking up of pins and normally being, people jumping in and breaking it up and interfering in a match. He said normally it'd be a disqualification. And so Shivani and Excalibur say, but then he stops and says, well, the match is there's no disqualifications. Now, I'm not sure. I could be wrong on this. Don't get mad, JR. I could be wrong. I don't ever, and tell me if I'm wrong. I don't ever remember them saying that this was a no DQ. Does anybody remember that? Was it ever stated in the lineup or anything else that this 4-man tag dance to see who faces FTR for the title is a no disqualification? Am I wrong? I could be. So JR says normally that'd be a no DQ, but then says, well, this is a no DQ match. So I don't know if it was made up on the run. It was a slip. Good old JR, I love you, brother. It's just something that comes to my attention as I'm listening to this show. That's all I'm saying. Did anybody else notice it? I don't know. Anyway, pile driver, senton combos, only a 2 count. Okay, Private Party and the Butcher, the Young Bucks did an unbelievable move. Okay, from the top rope, pile driver, senton combination, and only a 2 count because it's broken up. And this is what I talk about. When your finisher's your finisher, shouldn't it mean something? Shouldn't nobody kick out of it? It shouldn't mean that your opponent takes it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. What does it say about your finisher and about you as a performer, as a grappler, and what your impact is? Does anybody get that when these false finishes and people kicking out? And is anybody listening to me almost an hour and a half in? Are you there still? As we wrap up AEW Dynamite. Anyway, a lot of great moves. The Bucks reverse roll up on the Private Party for the win. So after all that insanity and all the stuff I just went on a rant on, they end up, listen, there were series maneuvers that led up to it. I read down some of the movers, and I didn't break it down that far. We'd be here for 3 hours. Okay, I'm not interacting with people that way. We'll do it after the facts. This isn't. So after all that, the Young Bucks reverse roll up on the private party for the win. There it is. There's the end of Dynamite. So next week, as I said in the spoiler about 10 minutes ago, but I wanted to go through the match because it really was a high-risk, crazy match. Nobody's winning in a four-way tag match. It's just like a three-way dance, a four-way dance, battle royal. They're hard to keep track of. A lot of injuries could happen. They're very dangerous matches. But the Bucks and FTR next week for the AEW tag team titles, which we knew that was coming down to. So let's just look at it. You look at, we got the town hall with Y2J and the Inner Circle and MJF. We like that whole scenario and how that's going. You got the feud on the, I don't know what's happening with Jake Hager. I really don't know where he's going to fit in. He's been around doing more of Wardlow's type work that Wardlow does for MJF. But I like that whole gimmick and where it's going and what's going to happen. I think MJF is going to turn on Jericho. I don't think this is going to work out. At an hour and a half in, 1 hour and 30 minutes, I'm making my statement, my bold prediction now. MJF is not a part of the Inner Circle. Somehow something happens and it doesn't happen. Too many egos, too big stars. Yes, Jericho's going to give the rub. They're going to pass the torch. I think they're going to be more creative than that. And that's why AEW is a better product than WWE. It's more creative. That's why I watch it at my age and being an old school guy who, let's face it, doesn't like a lot of new school stuff, although I respect it. So we have some great matches. Guevara and Hardy, FTR and the Young Bucks, the Town Hall, Cassidy and Cody and the Lumberjack, Darby's waiting in the wings. Again, fans at all these different websites. So that's the total breakdown of what happened. Okay, this is what I failed to mention before we get off the air here. Show number 6, Chaos Corner on YouTube, on Twitter. Fans, retweet this. I'm going to put it out there. Leave some comments. Hit the smash button. The algorithm. Tell me if you like it, don't like it, what you want to hear, what you want to change. Emails. That's what I said. Text, inbox. After the Bucks and FTR comes out to the ring after the Bucks win. So we're going to wrap this up. The Bucks end up getting attacked by FTR. Now there's this guy that comes out of nowhere with a bandana cover his face, a hat on. He looks like the Lone Ranger. What was it, Dusty Rhodes? Oh, no, the guy was too small to be the Midnight Rider. I love that gimmick. The Midnight Rider. I got to run to keep from hiding. And I know the laws abiding. I don't think that's it. I got one more silver dollar, but I'm not gonna let them catch me, no. Not gonna let them catch the Midnight Rider. The Guardian of Chaos, a little karaoke there. But so anyway, this guy's in the ring. Now right away, I know it's Tully Blanchard. I met Tully last year, again, at the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, class of 2019, and then the Fan Fest. The Horsemen were there. Tully Blanchard, Barry Windham, Arn Anderson, Paul Roma, all the stars were there. Duke the Dumpster Drosy, the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, Demolition, Bushwhacker Luke, Tony Atlas, Joel Gertner, the Kingpin Brian Malonis, the recently signed Anthony Green. There were more stars there than you can imagine. Let's get a Honky Tonk Man, Bill Apter, Gary Michael Capetta, J.J. Dillon, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Greg the Hammer Valentine. Did I say Hammer already? Romeo Rosselli, Antonio Thomas, the Heartthrobs. There were J.J. Dillon, who actually saw my letter from '94 in the WWF, and he signed my claim rejected letter from when I tried to get to the Federation and sent promos to him. He stamped it, he stuck it, and he signed it and gave it back to me. I still have it somewhere. We'll put it up. But anyway, so this guy, I get off tangent here. We're over an hour and a half in. That's okay. I hope you stayed. The masked guy, which I knew right away, it was Tully Blanchard. He's the manager of FTR. He takes off the mask, and everybody acts, and social media acts like they're surprised. What are you surprised? Are you watching The shows? Are you watching? Because I'm not always watching, but I listen to the guys that I listen to who are watching, and then I go back and listen to it, or if I watch it live, accuracy, facts, history, quotes, I say it all the time. Inspiration, positivity, motivation. So anyway, it was Tully Blanchard and FTR. They attacked the Young Bucks. They go off the air. The 2-hour show's over. And look, the 2-hour show's over. Chaos Corner's getting ready to be over. Besides one more note, we're 1 hour and 34 minutes in. And that show's usually 2 hours. And ours is without commercial breaks. So that's about the commercial breaks that get taken off every time. Otherwise, we'd be 2 hours. For the live fans, because Cody was only shown in the parking lot. This is what I hear through my sources. Now, fans, you know I have a lot of sources. I have so many sources and more sources that I have to outsource my sources. We know this. I was told by people in attendance that once AEW went off the air, Cody came in for the save, supposedly. Don't know why. I don't think it was meant for everyone to see or everyone to know except for insiders and the boys or the live crowd, which is family and friends. That's what they're going by, and they're doing great things with the COVID. So Cody came out, made the save. He stayed out there for a few minutes with the Young Bucks, and that's what the fans want to see, because the fans, he might have been promoted or advertised, and all you saw him was in the backstage, or actually outside in the parking lot, outside the arena vignette with Arn Anderson. So Cody might have came out just to appease the live crowd and to get people to come back, which is brilliant by AEW. So fans, this is what we're going to do. We're 6 shows in. Listen, I do all kinds of other shows. I'll be on all kinds of different podcasts. But while I'm here at Chaos Corner and I get the time, because schedules are changing, schedules are limited with other podcasters and content creators and performers, I'm going to continue to put out my own stuff. And I'm transitioning. It's not just going to be, we've talked about it before. Some days you're going to get shows of me trying to play with the radio and Solar and different things down here in Chaos Quarter and world trending topics, different things that we want to talk about, things that people have sent to me, emailed to me. Other times we're going to talk about the local independents and what's going on here in the greater Northeast area and the people that I'm associated with, which are great people that are doing great things. And that's what we want to push out there, because it's about giving back. And what's going on in my life. You know that I'm retired, but I'm still active in several different areas, whether it be maybe a manager again someday, definitely commentary, broadcasting, commissioner. There's all different kinds of things. Big Daddy's expanding and growing, and that's why I enjoy bringing this to you. And then we're going to get on to big time. We're going to start covering Dynamite, maybe Dark, different topics, Raw, SmackDown, randoms. We're going to always keep them shorter than this. This will probably be the longest podcast I ever have, 6 podcasts in. So fans, like, retweet, subscribe, whatever it is that you do, hit the thumbs button. Let's get it going to algorithm. Let's spread the word. We're having a lot of fun here. Tell me what you like and what you don't like. I'm changing things. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. So this is your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy. I'll say that to say this. Show number 6, the Big Daddy Hour, the Big Daddy Show, Chaos Corner. Don't you dare miss it.